And now I want to go on to a brief discussion of that civil authority structure. Because the biggest problem we have, if it all hits the fan, is that we're not organized as a group. You have a group here, you may have in one large community, in one city, you may have 3 or 4 different groups. And they're not talking to each other, and they're not coordinating with each other, they don't have a common plan. And if it all hits the fan, that's going to be killer for us. I mean, eventually we'll end up with some group, with some organization, but we'll lose a lot of people between the two. If we get organized now, if we do it up front, we decrease the chances that we'll ever have to lose anybody. It becomes safer for everybody, and more likely that what we do is we actually restore the Constitution. Okay? Having said that, how do we move from where we're at to where we really need to be? Because what we need is one person implementing the overall policy, and I don't mean one person a dictator. I mean one person elected and holding the role of President of the United States. I'm saying we need to take the presidency and claim that office for the patriots.
Yeah, I'm saying that.
Okay? And there's a way to do it, and there's a way to do it this year. Because the tyrants are going to elect a tyrant in November. I don't care who wins on the ballot. If you're on that ballot and you win, you are a tyrant. You're one of them. You're not one of us. So I'm going to do a little bit of campaigning at this point. Some of us are working to draft a President of the United States. Some of us are working to draft Chris Ann Hall in that role. Chris Ann is not running. She does not want the job. She's a patriot. She believes in keeping the oath that she took as a member of the armed forces. She believes that she took an oath to, for the rest of her life, support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Republic, not a tyranny. And she believes that commits her to lay her life in pursuit of that goal. Chris Ann doesn't want the job, but she will accept it if we elect her. Now, the tyrants have set up so many blockades to putting somebody on the ballot, and if we got them on the ballot, we'd have to violate so many of the constitutional rules that we'd end up being part of the system. So the only way to elect her is to write her name in. We need to get one person in every congressional district in the United States to agree to serve as an elector if she gets enough votes in that state to be elected from that state. We need to get 2 people from each state in addition to the congressional electors who agree to serve as electors at large from the state. And if she wins in the write-in, those are the people who will be elected from that state as the electors. Now, I'll tell you this, folks. We don't have to agree with the government on this. We don't have to agree that Chris Ann needs, 273 votes, 274 votes? We don't have to agree with them on that. All we have to do is say that she has to have more electoral votes, over half of the electoral votes received by lawful candidates, so that she's got a majority of the lawfully distributed electoral votes. And if a tyrant wins a state, we don't recognize that. because they're violating the Constitution by running. The Constitution doesn't allow the federal government to subsidize or to finance political campaigns for president. Anybody who gets votes by using that money has violated the Constitution. Our position is that they're not lawfully in the running anymore. So now all we have to do is win a majority of the states, and if you take it to that point, there's a good chance we can win all the states, because she's the only lawful candidate running. And in December, we declare her the President of the United States. Now, no, she's not going to move into 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, because it's unlikely that we'll be able to get enough votes to actually outpoll Clinton or Trump or Sanders if he comes from behind and wins the Democrat nomination. But our point is, at this point, we have somebody that the people of the United States as a whole have elected president that we can recognize as the civil authority for all of us. And if we've done the same thing in some of our congressional and congressional districts and in some of the Senate races, we can elect people to a Congress, and we can recognize them as the lawful Congress of the United States. And we're back to having a constitutional government. Yes, I know that it's a hard thing to do. And I know that there's the argument that that's going to throw the election to Hillary Clinton. But I'm telling you that it doesn't matter whether Hillary's the president next January or Trump's the president next January. A tyrant is still the president of the United States. And the republic is dead. But if we all agree to write in Chris Ann Hall and we elect her, and even if we elect only a few members of Congress, at least we will have a lawfully constituted Congress and a lawful president to whom we can offer our allegiance and our protection. And if we pull off the surprise and actually get enough votes, maybe we can actually win the White House. Of course, a lot of the militia units will have to turn out to protect her, because there will be a big effort to kill her. But at that point, we've really gained the upper hand. Because I will guarantee you that every person she nominates to the Supreme Court will be a constitutionalist. I'll guarantee you that a Chris Ann Hall administration will restore the Constitution. There'll be a lot of congressmen in jail. There will be a lot of judges in jail. But we'll have the Constitution back. We'll have the Republic back. And Chris Ann won't be a dictator. She won't do it unlawfully. She's a trained attorney. As an attorney, she took an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution. And this is the kind of person she is. She looked around her while she was a state attorney in the assistant state attorney in the state of Florida. And she watched the unconstitutional things being done in her office, the unconstitutional prosecutions. And one day she walked into the elected state attorney, Jerry Blair, and she said, "Jerry, we can't do these things." And she had a list for it. "We can't do these things because they're unlawful, they're unconstitutional." And she was so serious about we can't do these things that she refused to work for him when he refused to change. This is somebody that we can put faith in, somebody we can believe in, and somebody who believes in the Constitution and who puts it far and above her own personal safety, welfare, or anything else that's of personal value to her. She recognizes it, and I've heard her say this: it's the only thing that I can offer my son that guarantees his freedom. That's what she believes. That's what she's about.